So the U.S. military budget for fiscal year 2025 was approximately 919 billion in official defense spending, though broader analysis estimates the true total cost between 1.5 trillion and 1.8 trillion dollars. When you include mandatory funding, veterans benefits, and interest on the debt attributable to defense. So now for fiscal year 2026, the DoD requested 961.6 billion, while President Trump has proposed a historic 1.5 trillion for fiscal year 2027, representing a 42% increase over current levels. And folks, let's face it, the United States is broke and it has been for a long time. How many trillions of dollars of debt do we have already? 36, I think, at last count. Just the interest on that alone and every month is into the billions. Just the interest alone. So your tax dollars aren't paying for roads and schools and all that stuff. It's all eaten up by the interest. And they print the money out of thin air. And yet, we have failure all over the place in the military. As morale is dead, as U.S. sailors are trying to jump overboard while deployed in Iran, as the U.S. is running out of precision-guided munitions, and they've been running out since the whole debacle with Ukraine and Russia started. So it says here, I'm just actively watching my sailor kind of break down, like they're losing hope and everything, said a spouse. Yes. Why would they have any? This is from the wine press. Here we go. The war is not going great with Iran, which is a bit of an understatement to say the least. But as if an ever-growing global energy crisis worsens, the United States is both running low on its exotic weaponry and troop morale is incredibly low. Back in February, in the days leading up to the February 28th U.S. attacks that officially kick-started the war, the wine press reported on rumors that sailors deployed to and en route to the region were clogging the toilets to back up the plumbing, along with other reports of dryer fires, delaying the USS Gerald Ford's rendezvous. In April, rumors also emerged that the crew at sea aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Tripoli were running low on rations due to the Ford's already lengthy deployment prior to entering the region, and that family care packages were not being received. Now it's being reported that morale is terrible, with reports of seamen trying to commit suicide and jump overboard. I mean, it just doesn't get any worse than this. This was confirmed by two leading military publications, Stars and Stripes and the Military Times. And there it is. USS Abraham Lincoln sailors tried to jump overboard amid extended deployment. They've spent, get this, 9 months at sea, a record 250 days consecutively without making land. Yeah, that would drive anybody nuts. I remember being stationed in Guam, and that island was a lot bigger than a U.S. Navy carrier. And I started to feel stir crazy after about a year and a half. Because, you just see the same things every single day, and you realize you're just a little dot in the Pacific Ocean. But anyway, there it is. Multiple USS Abraham Lincoln sailors have tried to go overboard amid extended deployment, families say. The stories are numerous and corroborate each other. The Military Times cited Annabelle Loma, who said her husband had attempted to jump overboard the USS Lincoln during his deployment and has been placed on medical hold. He's scared. He thinks he'll get a dishonorable discharge, and just because he was burnt out. His 13-year career is ruined just like that. She said that's not fair. That's not right. That's not what he should be worrying about right now. No, it shouldn't be. And yet, how can you not? As Stars and Stripes detailed an even more grim picture, citing multiple witnesses at this hearing and others who exclusively disclosed what they heard to Stars and Stripes. The military outlet wrote this. In one case, the spouse tearfully told officials he received a message that same day from her husband saying he hopes he doesn't wake up tomorrow, according to one of the estimated 200 attendees at the San Diego Town Hall meeting. The worries expressed at Thursday's meetings echo those raised independently with Stars and Stripes by sailors and family members in recent weeks. Interviews with active duty sailors and family members, along with dozens of public social media comments and posts by crew members, describe sailors struggling with exhaustion and declining morale, including reports of suicidal thoughts in at least one instance where a crew member was prevented from jumping overboard. Family members and sailors say the roughly 5,000 service members aboard Lincoln have endured food and water shortages, disrupted mail service, and long work days with little time off. Wow. Lincoln has gone much of the deployment without the regular port calls that typically give carrier crews a break from life at sea. Carriers generally pull into a port every 30 to 45 days to allow for replenishment, maintenance, and crew rest. We've just been turning and burning the whole time we've been deployed, said one sailor, knowing that crew morale was high at the beginning of deployment with expectations of port visits and other breaks. Nothing to really look forward to at this point, the sailor said, adding that crew morale now is so low that sailors and Marines aboard Lincoln would be willing to forego any upcoming stops in favor of returning home as soon as possible. All we want is a date home. And I'll leave the rest up to you guys to read. It just gets worse from there. And then we have this to go with it. From the militarytimes.com. Asbestos, mold, and crumbling walls. The U.S. military's Pacific bases are falling apart. Now remember, this is all when we have record-setting military budgets, where they figure the cost this past year was $1.5 to $1.8 trillion. And now Trump wants to jack it up for 2027 to $1.5 trillion. And then, of course, the cost will escalate from there. So, what will be the real cost? Probably $2 trillion. That's really what he's asking for. And yet we have these conditions going on at our bases in the Pacific. There's no excuse for this. Mold, asbestos, and crumbling walls are only some of the issues plaguing the U.S. military's Pacific bases, according to a Pentagon watchdog. At Camp Courtney and Kadena and Yokota air bases in Japan, investigators with the Defense Department Office of Inspector General found visible corrosion, visible mold, visible fire damage, visible cracks on the building exterior and interior, visible concrete spalling and exposed rebar, water intrusion, lead-based paint, asbestos-containing material, and inoperable communication connections. Guys, I don't know what's happened. And I know I've been out of the military for a long time. I got out in 91. But what in the world happened? I mean, my God, the facilities at the Air Force Base in Guam when I was there, well, we had to keep our rooms in tip-top shape, the bathrooms in tip-top shape, at the dormitories and stuff. And everything at work had to be cleaned, and the floors polished, and everything was maintained all the time. What in the heck has happened? I mean, it's just gone downhill. The only thing they've been focused on since Obama has been being woke. I mean, they pretend not to focus on that stuff when Trump's in office, but I mean, homosexuality and transvestitism running rampant in the service now. That's also weighing on morale. I mean, wow. It's a mess. And you look at this and see all this, how everything's literally falling apart. And it's a huge mess. They're not just short on ammo, everything's crumbling. The bases themselves, the ships themselves are all crumbling because they're not maintaining them. Where's all that money going? Well, it's certainly not going to maintenance on the bases. Certainly not going to maintenance on the ships or any morale for the sailors who have been at sea for 250 days in a row with no port of call. Wow. Unbelievable. And you think if anyone thinks that this Navy, Army, or Air Force is going to win a war against Russia, China, or even Iran, well, you're crazy at this point. They're out of precision-guided munitions. And I guarantee you that's why they're talking about changing the nuclear doctrine, because that's all they've got left to shoot. That's all they got left to play with, are nuclear weapons now. So they'll start using them. They'll start using them in Iran. They'll start using them in the war with Ukraine and Russia. And Russia will, respond in kind, and so will Iran. And it's just going to get worse from there. This is not going to get solved by anything anytime soon, not until Jesus Christ returns. It's going to drag on and just get exponentially worse as it drags on. This is Armageddon, but it's not playing out like you thought, like it does in the movies. This is the long version. And we got more of it to deal with. And it's going to drag on for a while. We're going to see fuel shortages here in America. They're already seeing it in Indiana where all the floods have been happening. In fact, let's pull it up on Telegram. Up here, there it is. Crazy long gas lines. Long gas line, possible fuel shortages after severe storms in Chicagoland. Because the power's out everywhere, people are scrambling in to get fuel because they didn't do it beforehand, as usual. As usual, they didn't fill up gas cans for their generators, and so now they're having to fill those up after the fact. So be prepared, stay prepared, prayed up and prepped up at all times, because a lot worse is coming. When the day of the Lord's coming, you don't want to be here for the wrath. Seek Jesus Christ while there's still time. He's the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father but through him. You're not going to get there any other way. There's no other path to be reconciled to God except through his Son, Jesus Christ. Seek him today while there's still time. He is the ark through this great tribulation. And there's no other way through it but through him. So seek him today while there's still time. And that'll be it for this episode. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for all that we do. I put all kinds of stuff here that we can't speak about anywhere else. And yeah, all kinds of stories now, over 3,500, I believe, over the past, we've been around since 2019 with the website, so the past 7 years. Amazing. Hard to believe it's been that long. Seems just like yesterday I was resisting, putting up a website. But here it is. It's been around for 7 years now. And without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So if you'd like to support the channel, we are listener supported only. Click on this link. And all these links are at the bottom of every post too. So you can always click on those. But here it is, the channel support page. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, that link is here. The wish list option, which I got a couple things on there now, you can click that here. And then there's Cash App and also Venmo. And we thank you very much for the support. And Rumble, BitChute, and Telegram, these are the places to find us around the interwebs. So the YouTube link is here as well, for as long as it remains, that is. And of course, BitChute, Rumble, Don't Speak Health News on Substack, which is right here. I just put up a new post on DMSO today. And then also here on Telegram. And that's the only places where we're going, because we've been kicked off everywhere else. And that'll be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.